very used to that, is Russ. I have lived in Eagle for about 28 years. Some years my wife and I are lucky enough to be in the 1% club, and some years we are in the 2% club. I'm currently involved in about 4 businesses in various capacities and levels of investment. Hopefully one of these startups that I'm involved in will help me join the 1/2 of 1% club. I guess that qualifies me to be one of the bad guys that the Occupy movement is protesting against. My education is in economics and finance, and most of my work experience is in marketing and strategic planning. I believe that most of these occupiers simply want a level playing field where they can compete. This is probably the first generation of young people that face the prospect of a lower living standard and a more uncertain future than their parents since the Great Depression. Their access to a good education, a good job, good housing, good health care, and a good retirement are all greatly diminished by the social upheavals this country is now facing, brought on by reckless deregulation of financial markets. None of their fault. These people are out there struggling against what they believe to be injustice. Do I agree with them on all of their proposals? No. Some people taunt them in the newspaper or otherwise by saying, go out and get a job. But most of you know or should know that there are 4 unemployed people in this state for every job opening. I liken this to a very cruel game of musical chairs. There's 4 people trying to get to 1 chair when the music stops. I am one who tries to follow the teachings of Jesus Christ. They are some of the most difficult directions to follow. And I believe that many of you are the same. Do you really think that if Jesus was in your chair right now that he would vote to evict these people? After all, he was the champion of the poor and the downtrodden. He spent much of his life, his brief life, fighting injustice and standing up for the poor. Before you vote on this, I'm going to ask you to be truthful to your heart. If these people are out there demonstrating against a different cause, would you feel and act differently? For example, if there was a free abortion bill out there that was about to pass, or if there was a major income tax increase about to pass, and a different group was demonstrating and camping out there, would you even be contemplating this legislation? Again, I'm asking you to be honest with yourself and the teachings of Christ before you vote. The freedom of speech and the right to peacefully protest are incredibly precious. They are quite possibly the most valuable freedom that we have. These people aren't about inciting hatred or riots or anything like that. And is it a little messy? Yes. But they are a shining beacon to many groups around the world. If you summarily kick them out, what message are you sending to the protesters of Syria, Myanmar, China, Bahrain, and many other countries around the world? Do you really think that suddenly evicting them will further the cause of freedom in those countries? Why don't we, in Idaho, this bastion of conservative values, show the rest of the country a way forward based on patriotic values and the teachings of Christ?
Mr. Bishop, could you wrap up?
Yeah. I am asking you to give them at least 3 months' notice to decamp. This will allow for an orderly process, show good faith on your part, and provide for the compassion of Christ and the wisdom of Solomon in your response.
Thank you. Questions from the committee? Thank you for your testimony. Ann Hausroth and then Mary Reale.